What's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there in social media land? It's your man Dab Noble. If you didn't hear that, that's DAVNOBLE Dab Noble. And if you're watching this video, maybe you're coming from the Facebook AEP First Thoughts group, maybe you are coming from YouTube, but wherever you're coming from, man, I'm glad you made it here. So, what is conscious and nonsense? Well, conscious and nonsense is a running segment that I'm going to be recording, man, where we're going behind the scenes on a lot of the things that are going on the Facebook page. That is A.E.P Presents First Thoughts. That's the Facebook group. Join that if you're not there. But first thoughts, man, we're going to go behind the scenes on some things. We're going to talk more in depth about TV shows, movie reviews, sports, maybe a little politics here and there, even though it gets a little tricky. But we're going to go into a lot of things in a lot more depth than social media allows you to really get into sometimes. And sometimes, man, you just need that one-on-one, that conversational piece. We're missing conversation this time. So for today's first episode, what we're going to do today is the in-depth WandaVision review. And yeah, man, I have some thoughts on that show. So if you don't know or you haven't been watching, WandaVision is the Phase 4 Marvel show on Disney Plus right now, and I believe it's about eight episodes in, 7-8 episodes in. This show has been met with a lot of criticism. It's some people love it, they call it brilliant. Other people, they're like, it was okay, but you know, some people are like, I couldn't get into it. So I kind of want to talk about it a little bit. WandaVision is, for me, right now, for my opinion, I like the show. At first, I was curious about some of the decisions they made and some of the meaning decisions they made and how they formatted the show. This is gonna have spoilers. I just want to let you know right now, in terms of how they did the show with the different TV eras. I thought it was smart, but I thought that they ran the chance of alienating younger viewers who may not have been able to relate to those eras of TV. I know, for instance, the first 2 episodes of WandaVision, that was supposed to be the 50s. The 50s, the 60s, you know, the era of, Dick Van Dyke, you had Bewitched, Leave It to Beaver. There were even some of the animations from Bewitched that were in, the episodes and some of the jokes and the laugh tracks and things. So I grew up, I saw those things. My parents watched those shows, so they were on babysitters' houses or things like that. So I had that transition. I knew what those shows were. They were in my database before all the streaming and stuff went. But a lot of people, they didn't have that. They didn't grow up with that. So I felt that there may be a disconnect somewhere. And you saw a lot of people that were saying the first 2 episodes are boring. What are the laugh tracks? What are this? What are that? So Marvel, while doing something very creative, also, I think, kind of kicked themselves a little bit for going that route, but it was necessary. And hopefully they didn't, the viewers that may have left in the first 2 episodes came back. There were a couple other things. I mean, the pacing of the first 2 episodes I thought was pretty slow. And I'm lumping the episodes by era. So it was slow. Now, and I don't think it had to be that slow. I know they were building to something bigger, so you knew that was going to happen, and it was the first 2 episodes, so they had to build the groundwork. I did threw in the helicopter, the first color piece that showed that something was wrong, and I thought that was clever. I liked it had a little Pleasantville kind of vibe to it, and it wound up colorizing, I guess, Wanda, because this whole show is about Wanda. I mean, so Wanda is the maestro. She's the one controlling all this. This is Marvel's, House of M adaptation, which we'll get into a little bit later. So then we go into the episode, I think 3, which was the 70s. The Brady Bunch, the Partridge Family. It was, a little surprised they didn't do like a cheesy little musical number in there. But I liked how the little outside influence things crept in. You were introduced to the character who I think that no, she was in the second one, but the Monica Rambeau character, where she actually gets booted in this episode. That's right, she gets booted for, I guess, coming to her senses in that moment where she talked about Pietro being killed by Ultron. And then after that episode, so that was episode 3. It picks up a little bit, but then you see that Wanda has children, so she has twins at this point, and then now you see she's creating life within this hex, the spell that she's casting, that they're picking up this TV show frequency on, like, and I'm curious where that goes, where they're gonna go with that. So the next episode after that, we have the catch-up episode, which I liked. This is where they talked about where all the people came back from Thanos' snap, and Monica Rambeau. I think that's where you find out that she's Rambeau, that she's a Rambeau, and that her mom was Captain Marvel's friend in the Captain Marvel movie. So I like that part. That part was cool. How everybody just came back. Like they felt like they were asleep. It was chaos, and I thought that was dope. I like that they established that how the blip was done and how people came back from that. I like the hacking the TV show part. Like that was cool, where they brought back Kat Dennings. She was in the Thor movies, I believe. So and the Randall Park guy. I can't remember which other movie he was from. Was he from Ant-Man, I believe? But I like him as an actor. He's funny to me. But Randall Park and Kat Dennings, so they come in there, and that becomes an interesting dynamic between them. And I like that they took a break from the whole like TV show era, and then they put that section in there for just to kind of give you some explanation. So far, like, I'm digging the show. It's around a C for me at this point, because the first 2 episodes, I know what they were doing, but it was still kind of slow. So it's around the C plus range. So then we get into the 80s. And I'm sure more people were able to relate to the intros. Shout out to whoever decided to do the intros in the eras. Like, that's cool. Because this was the Family Ties, Roseanne kind of era here. And the show's getting better at this point. Monica, she's pushed forward to be the hero now. And then you got the government guy, the sword people taking over. And you're kind of getting that dynamic there. And then they throw you for a loop when Pietro shows up, but it's the Pietro from the Fox movies, which is interesting. And then they made a reference to Kick-Ass, who was Aaron Johnson's other superhero movie character. So I thought that was cool. I wondered, could they not get Aaron Johnson, or was that they just liked Evan Peters better, or if they just wanted to make a joke there? So I wonder if a story's going to come out. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody can tell me in the comments. I don't know. But, so I thought that was cool. You throw Pietro in there, and it's like, oh, they recast Pietro, so that was funny. Then you go into the 90s, and this is the Malcolm in the Middle intro, which I'm pretty sure Marvel probably got back a good portion of the people that left, because I know Malcolm in the Middle was huge. So that was pretty cool. And in this episode, you're finding out that, Vision is awake, and he's starting to question things, and you find out that he can't escape like that he's tied to the hex. And I was wondering that, like, if she created him or she brought him back to life in the hex, like, would he only exist in the hex, or would she be able to create him outside of the hex? So you find out in this episode that he cannot leave the hex. He's trying to leave, and it's pulling him back, and then Wanda expands the hex. I believe that was the end of the episode. She expands the hex, but that was cool. So Monica Rambeau, when they talk about her DNA being rewritten every time she goes in and out of the hex, I was like, okay, so is this how they're going to do mutants? I'm curious, because in the House of M, if I believe, and I don't remember the House of M that much. I know Wanda created a whole new reality, and I know at some point she strips everybody of their power. She says no more mutants there, at first I think she took everybody's identity away, and they didn't know they were mutants. And I'm trying to think, was it Wolverine that had to break the hex or whatever? But then it was no more mutants, and then she took everybody's powers away except for like a couple of mutants. But so Wanda's powerful, but if you know comics, Wanda is powerful. She's strong. She can rewrite reality. So this is pretty much what they're doing with the hex. So it would make sense if this is the way that Fox would kind of usher in some form of mutant. The problem that raises is with mutants who are established before the Hex. You know, your Professor X's, your Malcolm X's, Malcolm X, Professor X, Magneto, Wolverine. So I wonder what they're going to do with that, because they do show that something happened to Monica. Like, something happened to her. And you see it in her eyes when she goes back into the Hex, and it's glowing, and she's able to do stuff within the Hex. So you know that there's something that's going to come from that. But how much or how far can they go with that is what I'm curious about. And I wonder if they're actually going to show that in the series this season or next season, or is that gonna be referred to later on in a movie? Because you know, everything's on the table now. You got these movies and you got the TV streaming, so it's dope. So the final episode is we're in the 2000s, and this is the Modern Family era. You know, talking to the camera, breaking the fourth wall, and I thought that episode was good. You see the Hex, actually. You see there's a section where they pan out and you actually see like the corner of the Hex. It's pretty dope. I thought it was pretty dope. But I thought it was cool. You see Vision's not having it. Like, Vision at this point, he's trying to escape. And they had like a Truman Show moment where it's like he's trying to get away and stuff keeps pulling in front of him. And then you had like the band, like that happened in the Truman Show. And I remember that moment. I don't know if the Truman Show originated that, but it definitely was. It made me laugh because it made me think of the Truman Show, like when he tries to pull into the street and like all the cars come in and they block his path. So that's funny. But then, so here we go. You get the big reveal. Agatha Harkness is the big bad. I mean, yay, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Agatha Harkness was old and she had a cat. That's all I remember from the comics. So I don't know how big a reveal this is. Everybody thought it was going to be Mephisto. Everybody was sure it was Mephisto. Everything was Mephisto. Agatha Harkness, I don't know. I have to see. Obviously, with everything, I have to see. But right now, the way that they introduced her, like, I like the whole going into like the basement and stuff, but the whole thing was like, it's Agatha all along. Like, I was not feeling that. Like, I know that it fit with the show, but nah, man, I was not feeling that Agatha reveal. I need to see what they do with her, but I don't know. I'm hoping that's not the big reveal is the Agatha Harkness, because that would be, for me, a total letdown. But so right now, as this show ends, and thank you if you've made it all 15 minutes, I'm gonna say right now I got WandaVision at a B minus. It's very creative show. It's setting up a lot of things for Marvel. They're setting up something that's pretty cool, and I want to see what it is, and I'm here for the ride. I don't know. Agatha Harkness thing, man. I don't know. That was kind of corny to me, but I still give it a B. I think it's gonna be a dope show. That is it for the first episode of Conscious and Nonsense. And as we can tell, man, WandaVision is conscious, man. It's conscious. And we like it. And it's making us think. And we like to think. We want to think. We bringing smart back. You know what I mean? We want to think. So thank you guys for riding with me this whole time. Thank you if you're watching this video. If you are watching this on YouTube, check out the Facebook page, A.E.P presents First Thoughts. And you can hit me up on Instagram at DAV_AEP. I will put that also somewhere on this screen. But thank you guys. And what did you think about WandaVision? Are you feeling it? Did you feel the reveal? Like, is it something that you're going to ride with? Is it something that you're not sure about? Let me know in the comments. And hopefully, man, subscribe and to the page, and hopefully we'll talk, man. My next episode will be a dive on Judas and the Black Messiah. Whew, that movie was amazing. You definitely don't want to miss that. All right, peace.